Alex had always lived a quiet life at the edge of the forest. The small cabin he shared with his daughter, Mia, was surrounded by tall trees that whispered with the wind. He spent most of his days working at the local garage, fixing cars and helping neighbors with repairs. Life had not been easy after his wife passed away, but Alex had grown stronger. Every morning, he would wake early, brew coffee, and watch the sun rise over the forest, feeling grateful for the little things he had. Mia, his 8-year-old daughter, was full of curiosity and energy. She loved exploring the woods, collecting pine cones, and chasing butterflies near the stream. Alex always kept a careful eye on her, teaching her about the forest and how to respect nature. Despite their small home and simple life, their bond was unbreakable. Mia often helped her father with small tasks around the cabin, and Alex encouraged her to dream big, telling her that kindness and hard work were more important than money. One morning, as the mist hung low between the trees, Alex decided to take a walk before starting work. The forest was alive with birdsong, and the air smelled fresh and earthy. He had walked this path hundreds of times, but today there was something different. A faint sound reached his ears, a soft cry for help that did not belong to the birds or the rustling leaves. Alex froze for a moment, listening carefully. He could tell that someone was in trouble. Without hesitation, he followed the sound, moving quickly through the underbrush. The branches scratched his arms, and the damp soil made each step heavy, but he did not stop. The cries grew louder, and he soon saw a figure on the forest floor. A woman was trapped under a fallen branch, her dress torn and her face streaked with dirt. She tried to lift the branch, but it was too heavy. Her eyes widened as she noticed Alex approaching. Relief mixed with fear in her gaze. Alex did not hesitate. He knelt beside her and carefully lifted the branch with all his strength. The woman gasped as she freed herself and sat up. She was breathing heavily, but she was safe. Alex handed her a small bottle of water from his backpack and gently helped her drink. Her hands trembled slightly, and Alex spoke in a calm voice, telling her that everything would be all right. His tone was steady and reassuring, and she began to relax. The woman introduced herself as Lila. She explained that she was a businesswoman from the city who had come to the forest seeking peace. She had wandered off the trail and lost her balance on the wet ground. Alex listened patiently, nodding as she spoke. He offered her his jacket to keep warm and guided her to a safer spot nearby. Lila was struck by his kindness. She had never expected a stranger in the forest to care for her without question. Alex asked Lila if she could walk slowly with him to the edge of the forest. She agreed, leaning on his arm for support. As they walked, Alex shared stories of his daughter and the little adventures they had together. He spoke about the forest, the animals, and the joy of finding beauty in simple things. Lila listened, intrigued by the way he appreciated life's small moments. She realized how different his world was from hers, and a sense of calm washed over her. By the time they reached a small clearing near the cabin, Lila had regained some strength. Alex invited her to rest at the cabin until she felt better. Mia ran out to greet them, her face lighting up with curiosity. She asked Lila if she wanted cocoa, and Lila smiled, touched by the child's warmth. Alex watched them interact, feeling a sense of comfort in the presence of this unexpected guest. It was rare to see his daughter so open with someone she had just met. Inside the cabin, Alex helped Lila sit on a chair and offered her some simple food. She had not eaten properly since morning, and the small meal revitalized her. Alex's cabin was modest but cozy, filled with handmade furniture and books stacked neatly on shelves. The fire crackled softly in the fireplace, casting a warm glow across the room. Lila looked around, impressed by the simplicity and comfort of the place. She felt a rare sense of peace in this humble home. As Lila rested, Alex talked about his life as a single father. He shared the challenges of raising Mia alone, the hard work at the garage, and the small victories that made his days meaningful. Lila listened, fascinated by his resilience and optimism. She realized that despite having everything she could want in life, she had never known the satisfaction that came from hard work and genuine connections. Alex's words reminded her of something she had long forgotten. Mia, curious and cheerful, asked Lila about her life in the city. Lila explained that she had responsibilities that often left her feeling exhausted and lonely. Mia listened intently, her eyes wide with interest. She asked simple questions about Lila's work and the places she had visited. Lila smiled, feeling a warmth she had not experienced in years. The child's innocence and genuine curiosity brought a sense of joy to her heart. Throughout the afternoon, Alex continued to help Lila recover. He made her comfortable, provided water, and checked her bruises. He spoke in a gentle, encouraging tone, ensuring she felt safe and cared for. Lila began to open up about her fears and the pressures of her life. She found herself drawn to Alex's honesty and simplicity. His words were different from the polite, rehearsed conversations she was used to in her world. There was no pretense, no judgment, only kindness. As evening fell, the forest outside turned golden with the setting sun. The cabin felt warm and inviting, and Lila could not help but feel grateful for the chance encounter that had brought her here. She had expected a rescue, but what she found was much more, someone who treated her not as a powerful figure, but as a human being in need. Alex's strength and compassion had made a lasting impression. She realized that in this simple life, there was a wisdom and balance that she had been missing. Before nightfall, Alex prepared a small room for Lila to rest. He brought blankets and ensured she had everything she needed. Lila thanked him sincerely, her eyes reflecting genuine appreciation. She had been worried when she got lost in the forest, but Alex's calm presence had reassured her. She felt safe for the first time in hours, and a sense of peace settled over her mind. She knew she would remember this day for a long time. As Alex tucked Mia into bed later that night, he reflected on the day's events. He felt a quiet satisfaction in helping someone in need. Life had taught him to face challenges with patience and courage, and he was glad he could use his experience to assist Lila. Mia, tired but happy, snuggled under the covers, asking questions about the woman in the cabin. Alex smiled and told her that sometimes, helping others brings unexpected friends and lessons into our lives. Outside, the forest was calm under the moonlight. The wind whispered through the trees, and the night was filled with the sounds of nature. Alex stepped outside for a moment, taking a deep breath of the cool air. He felt grateful for the life he had, simple and grounded, full of small joys and responsibilities. Lila's presence was a reminder of how unpredictable life could be, bringing new connections when least expected. He knew tomorrow would bring more challenges, but also new opportunities to grow. Morning light filtered through the cabin windows, casting soft golden rays across the wooden floor. Lila woke feeling more rested than she had in days. The simple sounds of birds outside and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze made her feel at peace. Alex had already started breakfast, the aroma of freshly cooked eggs and bread filling the small kitchen. Mia, excited to see her new friend awake, waved from her chair. Lila smiled at the warmth and simplicity of the scene, a stark contrast to the constant rush and noise of her city life. After breakfast, Alex suggested that Lila take a short walk around the edge of the forest to stretch her legs. Mia eagerly tagged along, skipping ahead to examine flowers and small plants along the path. Lila followed, leaning on Alex's arm for support. The forest seemed alive, every tree, stone, and bird adding to the calm atmosphere. Lila marveled at the quiet beauty of nature, something she rarely had time to notice in her busy life. She realized that the stress and demands she carried in the city had left her disconnected from these simple pleasures. As they walked, Alex talked about the forest, teaching Lila how to identify different plants and the habits of woodland animals. He showed her a small patch of wild berries and explained which ones were safe to eat. Mia laughed as she picked a few berries and offered them to Lila. She hesitated for a moment, remembering the rules of city life, but Alex's reassuring smile encouraged her. She tasted one and was delighted by the sweetness. Alex laughed softly, glad to see her enjoying the moment, and Lila felt a warmth she could not describe. Alex shared stories about the local community, the people he knew, and the small joys of helping neighbors with repairs. Lila listened attentively, realizing how much satisfaction could come from simple acts of kindness. He spoke about the importance of family, friendship, and honesty, values he held dear despite the hardships he had faced. Lila reflected on her own life and the distance she had allowed between herself and genuine connections. For the first time in years, she felt inspired by the simplicity and authenticity of someone else's life. After their walk, they returned to the cabin, and Alex helped Lila wash her hands and face. She looked into the mirror and noticed the difference in her own expression. She appeared calmer, lighter, and more present. The small cabin, the cozy fire, and the presence of Alex and Mia made her feel secure and appreciated. She realized that safety and care were not dependent on wealth or status, but on the kindness of those around her. Lila felt a growing respect for Alex and a desire to learn from his perspective on life. As the morning turned to afternoon, Alex suggested they explore a nearby stream. Mia ran ahead, skipping from stone to stone, while Alex helped Lila navigate the uneven ground. The stream was clear, the water sparkling under the sunlight. Fish swam lazily, and dragonflies hovered above the water's surface. Lila took a deep breath, appreciating the crisp air and the gentle sound of flowing water. Alex pointed out the tracks of deer and rabbits, teaching her how to follow signs of wildlife. She found herself captivated by his knowledge and the way he observed life with such patience. Sitting on a large rock by the stream, Alex encouraged Lila to talk about her life in the city. She hesitated at first, but soon found herself sharing her challenges and pressures. Lila spoke about the constant meetings, the stress of managing employees, and the loneliness that accompanied her wealth. Alex listened without judgment, nodding and asking thoughtful questions. His attentive and genuine demeanor made her feel heard in a way she had never experienced before. Mia sat nearby, quietly watching, and occasionally chimed in with questions about Lila's world. Alex then shared more about his own experiences, speaking of the difficulties he faced as a single father. He explained how he balanced work, parenting, and the simple joys he still pursued each day. Lila was amazed at his resilience and positivity. Despite having far less material wealth, Alex's life was rich in love, experience, and connection. She realized that money could not buy the sense of fulfillment and peace that Alex found in the forest, with his daughter, and in acts of care for others. As they walked back to the cabin, Lila noticed the small details she had overlooked before: the patterns of sunlight through the leaves, the texture of bark, the songs of different birds. Alex's attention to these simple details reminded her of the importance of noticing life as it unfolds. She reflected on her rushed existence in the city, always moving from one task to another, missing the small joys that truly mattered. For the first time in a long while, she felt present and calm. Back at the cabin, Alex prepared a light lunch. He served fresh bread, cheese, and fruits from a small basket he kept for such occasions. Mia helped by setting the table and offering Lila a cup of water. Lila felt touched by the thoughtfulness of both father and daughter. She realized that care and kindness were not grand gestures but small, consistent actions. She was learning a lesson she had long forgotten: the power of giving attention and love to others, even in everyday moments. After lunch, Alex suggested a small project for the afternoon. He showed Lila how to help repair a wooden bench outside the cabin. At first, she hesitated, unsure of her skills, but Alex encouraged her gently, guiding her hands as she sanded and painted. Mia joined enthusiastically, turning the task into a fun activity. Lila discovered satisfaction in creating something with her own hands. The act of working together, laughing, and focusing on a simple task made her feel grounded and connected in a way she had never felt before. As the sun began to lower in the sky, Alex and Lila walked to a nearby hill to watch the sunset. The sky turned shades of orange, pink, and purple, reflecting off the trees and water below. Lila felt a sense of awe and peace, appreciating the beauty of the world around her. Alex spoke softly about the importance of slowing down and noticing the simple wonders of life. Lila realized that despite her wealth and status, she had never truly stopped to admire such moments. The experience filled her with gratitude and a desire to change her perspective. That evening, back in the cabin, Lila helped Mia prepare a small meal. They laughed and shared stories about their day, and Lila found herself feeling joy that was pure and simple. Alex watched them, feeling content that he could provide comfort and a sense of safety to someone who had been lost and overwhelmed. Lila expressed her gratitude, explaining how much she had learned from both Alex and Mia. She realized that genuine human connection and kindness were far more valuable than the luxuries she was accustomed to in her life. As night fell, the forest around the cabin became quiet, filled only with the sounds of crickets and distant owls. Lila sat by the fireplace, reflecting on the day. She understood that the rescue in the forest had been more than physical, it had been emotional and spiritual. Alex's words, his care, and his simple outlook on life had shifted her thinking. She realized that while she had wealth and influence, she lacked the depth of connection and presence that Alex demonstrated every day. Before going to sleep, Lila thanked Alex once again. He smiled and reminded her that life was not about material possessions but about love, care, and attention to those around us. Lila held on to this thought, feeling it resonate deeply within her. She knew that when she returned to her city life, things would be different. She would carry the lessons of the forest, the cabin, and the single dad who had shown her the value of simplicity, kindness, and connection. The next morning, the forest was bathed in a soft, golden light. Lila woke feeling refreshed and stronger than before. The peaceful sounds of birds and rustling leaves greeted her as she stepped outside the cabin. Mia ran ahead, eager to explore, and Alex followed with a calm smile. Lila felt a sense of comfort she had never known in the city. She realized that these simple moments of life, walking in nature, and sharing quiet conversations could be more fulfilling than any luxury she had ever owned. Alex suggested they take a small hike along a different trail, one that led to a hidden meadow known for its wildflowers. Lila hesitated, concerned about her strength, but Alex encouraged her gently. Mia skipped along, picking flowers and laughing at their bright colors. Lila smiled at the child's joy and felt a lightness in her heart. She noticed how Alex guided her carefully over rocks and roots, his patience and attentiveness reminding her of how much care truly mattered. As they reached the meadow, Lila was amazed by the beauty of the flowers swaying in the breeze. The air was sweet with their fragrance, and sunlight streamed through the trees in soft beams. Alex encouraged her to take a moment to breathe deeply and observe her surroundings. She did, feeling the tension of her city life slowly lift away. Mia danced through the flowers, and Lila laughed, surprised at how easy it was to feel happy in the simplicity of nature. While sitting on a large rock overlooking the meadow, Alex asked Lila to share more about her life and the challenges she faced. She explained the pressures of managing her company, the constant travel, and the feeling of being alone despite being surrounded by people. Alex listened intently, nodding and responding with understanding. His calm presence made her feel safe and heard. She realized that she had never truly spoken about these feelings with anyone who could listen without judgment. Alex then spoke about his own struggles as a single father. He told Lila about the hard days when he worked long hours at the garage, the nights when Mia was sick, and the moments of doubt that came with raising a child alone. Yet, he also shared the small victories and joys, the laughter of his daughter, the satisfaction of completing a project, and the feeling of helping someone in need. Lila was deeply moved by his resilience and perspective. She saw that his life, though modest, was full of purpose and meaning. Mia, curious and lively, asked Lila about the city and her work. Lila described her office, the people she worked with, and the decisions she made every day. Mia listened carefully, asking thoughtful questions that made Lila reflect on the difference between her world and theirs. Alex smiled at their interaction, noticing how the child's innocence brought clarity to complex matters. Lila realized that sometimes wisdom came from the simplest sources, and she felt a growing admiration for both Alex and Mia. After a while, Alex suggested that they try a small project in the meadow. He had brought along materials to build a simple birdhouse. Lila hesitated, unsure of her skills, but Alex guided her patiently. Mia eagerly joined in, and soon they were all working together, hammering and painting. Lila discovered the joy of creating something with her own hands. The act of working together, focusing on a task, and laughing at small mistakes made her feel present and connected. She realized that accomplishment and happiness could come from simple efforts and collaboration. As the afternoon sun moved across the sky, Alex showed Lila a small stream that ran through the meadow. The water was crystal clear, and tiny fish darted beneath the surface. Alex encouraged her to place her hands in the cool water, and Lila did, feeling refreshed. He explained how the stream helped sustain the plants and animals in the area, and spoke about the balance of nature. Lila listened, fascinated by his knowledge and care for the environment. She realized that life was about nurturing and maintaining balance, not just pursuing wealth or success. Mia asked Lila to tell a story, and she happily obliged. She shared a simple tale from her childhood about learning to ride a bicycle and the feeling of freedom it brought. Alex listened, smiling at the memories and the connection forming between Lila and Mia. Lila noticed how Alex encouraged his daughter to explore and express herself while maintaining a sense of safety. She admired his approach to parenting, understanding that love and guidance were more important than control or wealth. After their walk back to the cabin, Alex prepared a small meal. Lila helped by setting the table and arranging flowers from the meadow. The simplicity of the meal, the care in presentation, and the shared effort made it more meaningful than any lavish dinner she had ever attended. As they ate, Lila reflected on how much she had learned from Alex and Mia. She realized that kindness, patience, and attention to small details were qualities that could change lives in ways money never could. In the late afternoon, Alex suggested they take a short rest before dinner. Lila sat quietly by the fireplace, thinking about her life and the lessons she was learning. She recognized that her constant pursuit of wealth and status had left her disconnected from genuine emotions and simple pleasures. Watching Alex interact with Mia, she understood the importance of love, care, and attention to those around her. The calm and grounding energy of the cabin and the forest had made her feel a shift within herself. Mia, restless and curious, asked Lila if she wanted to play a small game. Lila agreed, laughing as the child led her through simple, playful challenges in the cabin. Alex watched them, feeling joy at the connection growing between them. He realized that sometimes, the smallest actions could create the deepest bonds. Lila felt a sense of belonging that she had never experienced, recognizing that genuine human connection was far more valuable than any luxury or possession she had known. As the evening settled in, Alex suggested they step outside to watch the sunset. The sky turned brilliant shades of orange, pink, and purple. Lila felt a sense of wonder and peace as she watched the colors reflect off the trees and water. Alex spoke softly about the importance of noticing life's beauty and slowing down to appreciate small moments. Lila realized that her life in the city had been rushed, filled with stress and noise, and she had forgotten to pause and enjoy simple experiences. When they returned to the cabin, Lila helped Alex and Mia prepare a small fire for warmth. They shared stories, laughter, and quiet conversation. Lila found herself opening up about her dreams and fears, feeling safe in the presence of Alex and his daughter. She recognized that trust and vulnerability were essential for deep connections, and she appreciated the genuine care they had shown her. The cabin felt like a haven, a place where she could be herself without judgment. Before bedtime, Alex shared a small lesson about the forest and life. He told Lila that strength was not measured by wealth or power, but by kindness, patience, and the ability to help others. He explained how small actions could make a big difference and how living with integrity brought peace and fulfillment. Lila listened, understanding that these words were more than advice, they were a guide to living a meaningful life. She felt inspired to carry these lessons into her own world. That night, as the cabin grew quiet, Lila reflected on the past 2 days. She realized that her encounter with Alex and Mia had been transformative. She had been rescued not only from the forest but from the disconnect and stress that had clouded her life. The experience had reminded her of the importance of slowing down, appreciating simplicity, and valuing genuine human connections. She felt grateful for the chance encounter that had changed her perspective. The next morning, the forest was calm and filled with soft light. Lila woke feeling stronger and more present than she had in years. She could hear Mia playing outside, chasing birds and laughing joyfully. Alex was preparing breakfast in the small cabin, humming softly. Lila watched them and felt a warmth in her heart. She realized that these simple, peaceful moments were more fulfilling than any extravagant experience she had in the city. The connection she felt with Alex and his daughter was real, genuine, and grounding. After breakfast, Alex suggested that Lila explore a nearby hilltop with him and Mia. The hill offered a view of the forest stretching for miles, with streams and meadows scattered across the land. Lila hesitated for a moment, unsure if she could manage the climb, but Alex offered his steady hand and encouragement. Mia ran ahead, skipping over rocks and roots, her laughter echoing through the forest. Lila felt a sense of freedom she had not known in a long time. The climb, though simple, made her feel alive and connected to the earth beneath her feet. At the top of the hill, Lila took a deep breath and admired the view. The forest was alive with colors, the sunlight dancing across the leaves. Alex encouraged her to sit and take in the scene, explaining how nature reminded him of life's balance. Lila realized how often she had been too busy to notice beauty in her surroundings. For the first time, she felt at peace with herself and her life. Mia ran in circles, picking wildflowers, and Lila laughed freely, forgetting the stress and demands of her previous world. As they rested, Alex invited Lila to share her dreams and hopes. She hesitated at first, unused to speaking so openly, but the calmness of the forest and the trust she felt made it easier. She spoke about her desire to find balance, to connect with people authentically, and to lead her life with purpose. Alex listened carefully, offering gentle advice and encouragement. He explained that life was about more than wealth or status, and that meaningful connections and integrity were far more valuable. Lila absorbed his words, feeling them resonate deeply. Mia, curious as ever, asked Lila to tell a story about the city. Lila shared a tale of a festival she had attended as a child, describing the lights, music, and excitement. Mia listened attentively, asking questions and laughing at the details. Alex smiled at their interaction, noticing how Lila's openness created a bridge between her world and theirs. He realized that the connection forming was not only comforting for Lila but also enriching for his daughter. The simplicity of shared stories, laughter, and attention was a powerful lesson for all of them. As they walked back to the cabin, Alex showed Lila how to identify different types of trees and plants. He explained their uses, their role in the ecosystem, and the importance of respecting nature. Lila felt amazed at his knowledge and care. She realized that this attention to detail, this mindfulness, was something she had been missing in her busy life. She began to see her world differently, understanding that being present and noticing small details could bring calm, joy, and purpose. When they returned, Alex suggested helping Mia with a small woodworking project. Lila hesitated, unsure of her ability, but Alex guided her patiently. Together, they built a simple shelf, working side by side and laughing at their mistakes. Mia joined enthusiastically, painting the finished product with bright colors. Lila felt a deep satisfaction in completing a task with her hands, something she had rarely experienced in her structured city life. She realized that joy could come from creativity, collaboration, and focus on simple, meaningful tasks. As the afternoon approached, Lila took a moment to sit quietly outside. The sun was warm on her face, and the wind carried the scents of flowers and pine. She reflected on the past days, realizing how much her perspective had changed. The rescue in the woods had been more than a physical event, it had awakened something within her. She had learned patience, humility, and the value of simple joys. Her heart felt lighter, her thoughts clearer, and her spirit calmer. Alex joined her, handing her a small cup of water. He spoke about the importance of gratitude, mindfulness, and nurturing relationships. Lila listened, feeling the truth in his words. She understood that wealth and success were meaningless without human connection, care, and presence. The simplicity of Alex's life, the love he showed his daughter, and the attention he gave to others was inspiring. She felt grateful to have met someone who reminded her of the deeper values of life. Mia ran over to them, holding a bundle of wildflowers. She asked Lila if she wanted to make a small bouquet. Lila smiled, accepting the flowers and arranging them carefully. The act was simple, yet it brought her joy. Alex watched them, feeling the satisfaction of sharing moments that mattered. Lila realized that happiness could be found in small gestures, shared attention, and simple creativity. The forest, the cabin, and the warmth of the people around her had changed her in ways she could not fully express. As evening fell, Alex suggested preparing a small dinner together. Lila helped gather vegetables, and Mia assisted with setting the table. Alex guided them, ensuring everything was simple, safe, and enjoyable. The meal was modest, yet meaningful, as they laughed, shared stories, and enjoyed each other's company. Lila felt a deep appreciation for the experience, realizing that connection, effort, and presence were more valuable than any luxury. She had learned a lesson she would carry forever. After dinner, they sat by the fire, the flames casting a warm glow across the cabin. Lila spoke about her plans to return to the city but promised herself that she would change her perspective. She would focus on meaningful connections, authenticity, and simplicity. Alex shared more about his experiences, speaking of resilience, love, and the importance of guiding children with patience and care. Lila felt inspired, understanding that the lessons she learned in the forest were practical and valuable for her life ahead. As night settled, the forest outside grew quiet. Crickets chirped, and the moon cast a soft silver light across the cabin. Lila reflected on her journey, realizing that she had been rescued not only physically but emotionally. Alex's words, actions, and the warmth of his home had opened her eyes to what truly mattered. She understood that her wealth and influence were tools, but they were meaningless without integrity, care, and connection with others. She felt a deep gratitude for the chance to learn these lessons. Before going to bed, Lila thanked Alex and Mia once again. She expressed her admiration for their way of life, the love they shared, and the peace they cultivated. Alex smiled, telling her that she had the power to bring the same values into her world. Mia hugged Lila tightly, promising to remember her forever. Lila felt a strong bond with the father and daughter who had shown her what life could be when lived with kindness, attention, and simplicity. The next morning, Lila prepared to leave the cabin. Alex and Mia accompanied her to the edge of the forest, where her transportation awaited. She hugged them both, feeling a mix of gratitude, sadness, and inspiration. Lila knew that the lessons she had learned would guide her in the city. Alex reminded her to remember the value of small joys, care, and meaningful connections. Lila promised herself she would not forget these teachings. She stepped onto the path, carrying a sense of peace and clarity she had never known before. Back in the city, Lila approached her life differently. She treated her employees with more care and attention, invested time in her family, and sought moments of simplicity in her busy schedule. She often thought of Alex and Mia, remembering the lessons of the forest, the cabin, and the stream. The rescue had been more than saving her from danger. It had saved her from the disconnection and stress of a life focused solely on wealth and status. She felt renewed, inspired, and determined to live with purpose. Lila returned to her office with a new mindset, approaching challenges with patience and integrity. She built deeper connections with her colleagues, mentored others with genuine care, and valued meaningful conversations over efficiency alone. She often paused to reflect on small joys, appreciating life in ways she had never considered before. Each time she did, she thought of Alex and Mia and the lessons they had shared in the forest. These memories guided her, shaping her into a more grounded and compassionate leader. Months later, Lila returned to visit the cabin. She brought gifts for Alex and Mia, small tokens of appreciation for the guidance and care they had given her. The reunion was filled with laughter, stories, and gratitude. Lila realized that the bond she had formed with them transcended time and distance. She thanked Alex again, knowing that his words and example had changed her life in ways money could never achieve. Alex smiled, happy to see her thriving and carrying the lessons forward. Lila often shared the story of her encounter in the woods with friends and colleagues, not as a tale of rescue alone but as a story of learning, growth, and transformation. She emphasized the importance of kindness, attention to simple pleasures, and the power of genuine human connection. People listened, inspired by her experience and the clarity she had gained. She became a source of inspiration, demonstrating that wealth and influence were valuable only when paired with integrity and care. The forest and the cabin remained in Lila's heart as a symbol of simplicity, connection, and wisdom. Alex and Mia continued their life, grounded and happy, knowing that they had made a difference. The encounter had not only changed Lila's life, but also reaffirmed their belief in the power of kindness, patience, and genuine care. Lila's transformation was a testament to the idea that true wealth came from love, connection, and the simple acts that create meaning in life.